Obviously, something really whack is happening with the job market right now, and as somebody who follows the job market for a living, I don't know why more people aren't talking about this. So we always talk about how blue-collar manufacturing jobs were offshored to other countries, and there's a lot of truth to that. Since the 1970s, companies have decided to move manufacturing overseas to countries like China, the Philippines, India, Mexico, Vietnam, because it's cheaper. They can reduce prices, increase profits, stay competitive. Capitalism. Now, something that a lot of people don't know is that while manufacturing jobs in the US have decreased, manufacturing output has largely stayed the same. And that is due to automation. Factory technology has improved so much that these companies can produce the same amount of goods with less people. Now, I believe that right now the same thing is happening, but not to blue-collar workers, but to white-collar workers. So during the pandemic, a lot of companies had to learn how to work remotely. And since then, they have learned that they no longer need to hire people who are local. You can hire people from anywhere. Why hire an American digital marketer? You have to pay $100,000 a year, healthcare, PTO, benefits, social security, payroll taxes, etc. when you could just hire a comparable contractor in India for $25,000 a year flat. Pair that with AI being able to take over a lot of entry-level tasks and responsibilities. I think I've seen this film before. And the reason I think that people aren't talking about this is because it's invisible. When a factory would shut down, the whole plant would go dark, the town would suffer, it was so tangible. But when a corporation lays off a quarter of their marketing department and brings in contractors from a different country, nobody really notices it. The jobs available to Americans just becomes fewer and fewer. So I feel like maybe we should just start talking about this.
Many Americans won't have a job in the next 5 to 10 years. American jobs are not coming back to the United States. I've been saying this for the past year and a half, right? When AI first started dropping bombs, when automation first started dropping bombs, I said the traditional 9-to-5 jobs that many Americans are used to working, they are not coming back. What part don't y'all understand? If you're still relying on the government to tell you what's going on, if you're still relying on the job market to tell you what's going on, listen, you're going to be behind the 8 ball, which many Americans are. They're already behind the 8 ball. Many Americans are underskilled, right? As of today, 2025, many Americans still have skills from the 1980s, 1990s. Many Americans are still not caught up on technology. Many Americans don't even know how to use social media. Many Americans don't know how powerful social media can be. Many Americans are just behind the 8 ball. And the job market, the economy is letting us know, hey, this is the future. This is where we're going, and people are still not catching up. People are still thinking that manufacturing is coming back to the United States. Listen, I don't care what the administration is telling you. I don't care what the quote unquote job experts are telling you. Listen, the manufacturing is not coming back, right? If anything, if manufacturing does come back, like I've said before, it'll be in the form of automation, right? Which they've had already for the past 5 years. Amazon warehouses, many Amazon warehouses are already operating on automation. They're operating on little to no headcount, which I've been saying for the past year and a half. People still sitting around thinking that, oh yeah, this company is about to invest billions of dollars. Oh, this company is about to invest this amount of money. Listen, I don't care if it's a car plant, Hyundai, Honda, whatever company you want to name. Listen, here's the thing, right? And I know y'all seen the tech meeting with the Trump administration. I know y'all seen that, right? And how they was promising $600 billion, $500 billion, just throwing out crazy numbers, right? Here's the thing. Even if those numbers stick, this is what's going to happen. They're going to invest, right? Let's just say they're going to invest, right? Most of that money is going to go into basically building and construction, right? So there's going to be a short-term boost, right? There's going to be a short-term boost. So, you got your construction workers, you got your architects, got your engineers, all of the people that take part in the construction process. There's going to be a short boom for about 1 to 3 years. After that, boom, decline. Why? Because, right, once the facilities are built, they're going to be fully automated. There's only going to be specialized positions that are going to be running and maintaining these data centers, running and maintaining these warehouses. There's not going to be human beings in there putting together car parts and, getting wrenches and making sure that the tire is on there securely. That is so 1980s, 1990s, right? Barely early 2000s. That is so old school, and it's sad. It's really sad that most Americans, well, I don't want to say most, but a lot of Americans still think right now to this day that these jobs are going to come back. No, they're not. I don't care who's sitting around the Trump administration. I don't care who's sitting around the table, right? They can make all the promises they want, but many Americans are not skilled in reading between the lines. They aren't. They aren't. You think that you're about to apply for one of these jobs? Yeah, let me do one of these jobs and get into one of these data centers or one of these warehouses. Nope. Nope. Those billions of dollars are going into construction. That is it. Constructing these data centers, constructing these facilities, right? And then when you really talk about the specialized positions, many of those positions are going to go overseas, like she just said. Many of those specialized positions, they're going to ship that overseas, right? Yeah, Trump is calling for companies to come back, or you're going to face penalties, but Trump is not going to be in there forever, right? Trump is not going to be in there forever. He got a few more years, and he's up out of there, right? And even now, stuff is still, on the same regular schedule program. They don't care. They want money. They don't care who has to suffer. They don't care. Listen, these companies are bigger than governments, right? Apple is bigger than the government. Microsoft is bigger than the government, right? Meta is bigger than the government. Like, these companies have reached a level to where, there's little to no, there's not really much a country like America can do, to a company whose whose GDP is bigger than, most developed countries. I want y'all to put that into perspective. Right? Many of these companies, many of these tech companies, their GDP exceeds many countries in the world. Right? So you're talking about they can almost practically do anything. They can almost practically do anything, right? And this is why I continue to preach to you guys. Listen, you need to get up on skills. You need to dive deep into social media. You need to figure out your place in this world, because that traditional 9-to-5 is becoming null and void. And many Americans are going to see it when it's well too late. Right? Many people don't see it until it's too late, right? They still listen to Fox News, Cock News, right? They're still listening to CNN, right? They're still listening to MSN bullshit, right? They still listen to all of these news outlets thinking that they're just going to tell you the truth. No, they're not going to tell you the truth. They're going to feed you whatever narrative that best suits them at that time, right? Many Americans are not going to have jobs come next 5 to 10 years. I bet on it. Especially when it comes to white collar, right? Office jobs, tech jobs, right? That whole sector, many Americans won't have a job, right? And I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm not trying to do any of that. Listen, I'm just telling the truth. I'm just seeing the writing on the wall. Y'all better get in tuned with some kind of skill that you have to be able to monetize it, especially when it comes to social media and when it comes to the digitalization of our world right now. Right? Because simply put, most of you don't even have a specialized position enough to keep your job around. Right? You're a paper pusher, my guy. You're a cart pusher, my guy. Right? They've had automated cart pushing machines for the longest. You're still at Wally World, nigga. You're still at Jiffy Lube. Before you know, they're not gonna need you to be up under the car changing oil. Right? They ready to roll out a machine. They're ready to roll out self-checkout. They're ready to roll out many of this stuff, but the reason why they're holding back right now is just because they don't disrupt humanity as we know it. That is the only reason why they're holding back right now. The only reason. But I'm gonna tell you right now, Like I've been saying, many of you only have 5 to 10 years. Now, blue collar may have a wider window, right? Because it requires physical labor, right? So blue collar may have a wider window, maybe 15, 20, right? Before they start rolling out humanoids and iRobots and they start marching down the street, ninja, right? Marching down the street, right? Whacking ninjas, right? Before they start marching down the street. But as for the rest of you, right? You paper pushers, you typers, right? You office junkies, right? You coffee drinkers, right? You office coffee drinkers, ninja, right? Many of you only have 5 to 10 years. I bet on it, right? You want to be an accountant? Why would you want to be an accountant, right? ChatGPT can run the numbers in a split second. They don't need you for that. Right? Any kind of account services, any kind of, call centers, right? They don't need human beings anymore. They probably need a few bodies to make sure everything is running the way that it is, and making sure that they're limiting errors and making sure that no errors occur. But besides that, they do not need headcount anymore. Right? Y'all thinking those jobs from the pandemic are coming back? They're not coming back. You think these jobs that they just cut from the U.S. government to the private sector, you think that these jobs are coming back? They are not coming back, right? Yeah, but many students are in school right now studying for degrees that are not going to matter tomorrow, right? Not going to matter in the next month, not going to matter in the next 365 days. They're studying for degrees that are going to be obsolete, right? They're trying to get jobs that are going to be obsolete, right? If you're not some kind of specialized doctor, if you're not some kind of specialized attorney, right? If you're not some kind of specialized engineer, right? Within the AI space or digitalization space or even crypto space, right? Bro, hang it up. I know this may sound crazy, but listen, hang it up, right? Because the only ones that they may keep around in the first place are going to be seniors, right? People who have worked on projects for the longest, people who have, they've been coding for the longest, right? You're best of the best, right? If you know you're not the best of the best, ninja, just hang it up. Just hang it up. You might as well go find you something safe to do, right? You might as well go ahead and jump in blue collar. Blue collar's not the best either. I'm gonna tell you right now, as somebody in blue collar's not the best, right? But even on the blue collar side, you see what's happening with the truckers. Right? I've met countless truckers, right? They're asking me, hey, what are some qualifications that I need to come on to your side, right? I've been in trucking 20 years. I've been trucking 25 years. It's not good over here anymore. It's not looking good. It's not looking good for us. I've met countless truckers, right, who are trying to figure out what I'm doing, countless truckers that's trying to, maneuver over into something else that's been in trucking for years. Right, for years, but now just a lot of things have changed, right? There's been disruptions to the transportation industry, the shipping industry, right? You got tariffs and all that kind of stuff, disrupting that industry. But then on top of that, you just have them, you have burnout over there with the truckers. Also, they're rolling out self-driving trucks, right? Self-driving trucks are going to be a thing over the next 2 to 5 years. You're going to see self-driving trucks on the road, right? They're not going to need people. Right? I know some of y'all can't wrap your mind around the corporatocracy not needing you. I know that y'all been on a nipple for forever. Listen, it is about to be over, right? You're gonna have to use your brain to make it in the new world. You're gonna have to use your brain to figure out how to make money, right? And then on top of that, you're gonna have to use your brain to make serious money, right? Because life is not going to get easier as we move forward, right? Even when jobs become obsolete, the cost of living is not going to go back down. Housing is not going to go back down. No, it's just going to continue to go up, right? So even if you go into business for yourself, right? Even if you come up with your own business, even if you try to be self-sufficient, you're still going to have to learn how to make a substantial amount of money, right? You thought it was hard enough to get a 6-figure job, right? You thought it was hard enough to combine 2 incomes, 2 jobs to equal up that 6 figures. All right, now you got to go. Now you got to go even harder. Now you got to go into business for yourself and make that same 6 figures. Now you got to go into business for yourself and make that 150. Right? Now you got to really figure this thing out. And this is what's going on. This is what I keep saying. Make sure you come over here, sign up for the Book of Forbidden Knowledge. This is what I keep telling you. Right? You're going to have to tap into creativity. This is the days of creativity. Right? No longer are you getting by just on the job. No longer are you skating by, right? Sitting at the office. You only put in 4 hours of work. Right? You only put in 4 hours of work. You were done. Your day's supposed to be 8 hours. Right? But guess what? You already done 4 hours, right? They can't get no more work out of you, but guess what? AI, they can work them motherfuckers 24/7 and then get better work and then get faster work. Imagine the productivity of AI and automation without human beings. Now, I'm not, it is what it is. They're trying to maximize gains. They're trying to maximize as much money as they possibly can, right? There's only so much that a human being can do. And this is what they're finally understanding. Pandemic made them understand that. They've seen how much money they can make without as much head count. Right? They made a ton of money. Many companies made a ton of money during the pandemic, right? With less head count. And they realized, hold up, right? We're making more money with less people. Right? We can run this thing with less people. And then after that, it was just a trickle down effect. Right? They started rolling out more technology, rolling out more AI, right? Working with less people. Right? I want you to ask yourself, if we're trending this way, if we're trending towards a market where many people are going to be left homeless, many people are going to be left jobless, many people are already skillless, right? School is extremely expensive. Nobody's going back to school, right? Unless they have the money and the resources for it. Many people are not going back to school. What is the alternative? And that's an after pill. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see y'all in the next one.